Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go! Do you have absolute certainty on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for?
Sean is a master. He teaches. It's not just about sharing the formula with you. It's about making sure that we learn.
I went from $100,000 in debt from law school to having no money and starting my own law firm on my credit card to selling it 4 years later.
Sean and I, we co-created massive victories in 2 unwinnable jury trials, which are recognized nationally now as top 100 jury verdicts.
To be even on the same track with you, who I respect and admire and love with all my heart.
Never again submit. You're not better and you're not less than any human on earth.
When you shared with us about the Unblinded process and the mastery sales training, I just went, wow.
Sean will gain proximity to the most influential and powerful people. He will find out how he can grow their business, how he can help them personally. But the third thing that he does is the most important. Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You have very, very high-performing colleagues.
22 years ago, you transformed my life as you did all these people's lives over the course of time. I couldn't be more grateful. Let's hear from Tony Robbins.
I don't see him as a lawyer, and I don't see him as a blind person. Someone who has subjugated his ego, who has taught me what serving really looks like.
You have this incredible ability to just have unconditional love for everyone, and that is just an incredible gift.
The moment you have been waiting for.
The American Blind Association is the first new face and voice of that association since Helen Keller.
Formula for formulas, which is exactly what I've learned from Sean. It's a language-based predictable model. We will have over 300 new sales meetings this month.
This superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. If you believe that, say yes. If you believe that, say yes.
Do you think that worked?
Reserved for Sean Callaghy.
Oh,
wait, you are Sean Callaghy.
Oh my goodness, I don't know who that guy is, but okay. So thank you guys for being here. Happy. We've lost track of days. I think it's Why Wednesday.
It is Why Wednesday.
Yes.
We've been talking about whys, and we have some fun people here that I cannot wait for you to hear. Who's here, Sean Callaghy?
Oh,
yeah.
That is fun.
This is
You're
fun.
fun.
That is
Gina's
very
fun. I'm not fun, but it's amazing we have a lot of fun here. So, all right, so let's go, Gina. Who's here?
All right, well, first up, this man from Rhinebeck, New York, Sean Callaghy, he's an actor, a performer, also a master, surfer, leading surf retreats in Costa Rica. Claim to fame is that he was the Dell dude, aka the face of Dell, for 4 years back in the day. He's committed to empowering men. He's extraordinary. He's got some fun facts that you're going to hear in a moment. Please join me in welcoming Ben Curtis to The Real World.
Thank you so much. Ben, I am so honored to be here. I am so great. I'm lit up, Sean. Sean, I've been hearing about you for 2 years from my best friend, Matt Johnston. Matt Johnston has been telling me, and I put out a call to the universe to invite this guy named David Rush on my yoga surf guitar retreat next month. I heard David should come, and David says, I'm part of this thing called Unblinded. And I said, you don't say. So I was the dude you're getting a Dell guy 20 years ago. And if you're in tune with tech right now, I'm now the dude I'm now the Dell dude now. I have made a comeback. I'm working with McLaren, with Dell. We're going into NASA and space. And the reason this has happened is because I burned my career down. I got arrested for pot after, during the Dell commercials is the thing I was most famous for. I couldn't get hired to do anything. I got addicted to drugs and alcohol. And since then, completely turned my life around and became a personal freedom coach. Realized all this sensitivity I've been suffering from was my greatest gift. And all the vulnerability I have as a man was my greatest gift. And since then, I've been leading with that unapologetically. And what I really wanted to invite you to, Sean, is to hire me as a keynote speaker for Unblinded, for one of your events on vulnerability. to speak on the power of vulnerability and connection in the workplace and how important it is for men and all humans to have more safe spaces, because the reality is there's still people who are creative and brilliant who are killing themselves every day because they don't feel permission to be themselves. And I now do what I love, and I teach other people how to do the same as a coach and a speaker and an actor and a musician. I'm an award-winning band with my wife. And Sean, I want you to be on my podcast. Dude, you're getting well. I want you to hire me as a keynote speaker, and I want you to look into my men's program, the Lion's Den, which is a 10-week program where where leaders of the world come together to take the arrows out and really talk about what they're not dealing with under the hood of growing their empire.
Ooh, this man has got an HUI dropping bombs all over the place. So Ben, first of all, love Matt Johnston. So grateful that you're here. And I believe in giving appropriate credit, like as it progresses. So no Matt, no Unblinded. Now, I would say that probably about 50 people would fall into that category, right? Of people who were indispensable links in a chain to get to where we are. Matt is certainly one of those links. And when you were in Rhinebeck, rolling in Rhinebeck, because Rhinebeck has a dear place in my heart. We did one of the initial innovation sessions in Rhinebeck. Were you ever in any innovation sessions that Matt was doing Trillions and Jonathan Cohen?
No, but I've been along the way that whole time because I am Matt's best friend. We're what he calls his Harlem besties. We met him in Harlem when he was out creating this and coming here. And we're here because of Matt. We moved here to teach circus camp to the kids of the stars and the neurodiverse kids on the campus at the Primrose Hill School, the Waldorf School, to learn from children and give back to the community. And we saw the magic that was here and what's being created. And and Matt's been a source of that. He did my Lion's Den last year. My father died during that process. My father was my best friend. I've recovered from PTSD and addiction during that stuff. And the reason I'm diving right in is because I know I have a short time. I'm not even sure what's happening here, but this has all led me to, I didn't know where my wife and I were going to live for the first time in our life. And all I knew is I loved coaching and I wanted to help more men and people do what they love. And we literally landed in Rhinebeck, found a house across the street from Matt the last day here. And the universe has just continued to deliver me in places when I let it. And so meeting David and then him saying Sean Callaghy, it was like, I'm in. Whatever this is, I'm in. And so Matt said, who do you want to speak to? Who's your ideal person to talk to? So I know I had 3 minutes and my person was Sean Callaghy.
Well, thank you. But you have more than 3 minutes coming up, and I am immensely grateful. Matt, Primrose, I had the privilege of contributing in different ways, including economically to Primrose. Innovation sessions up there. Matt and I have spent a lot of time together. And I was invited to be, there's amazing synergistic energy present. I was invited to be a lion in Tony Robbins' world, where, for those that don't know, Tony Robbins, first of all, people may not know who Tony Robbins is. He's, incredibly accomplished person in space personal development, coach presidents, sports teams, some would argue the most successful personal development figure in the world. I happen to love Tony's work, like him or not, love him or not. There's no question that his impact and reach has been achieved potentially by nobody else in the history of personal development. So that's Tony. He has a platinum partnership organization, which is a super lead organization, 6-figure program. And I was in that. And then there's like an inner sanctum to that, which I had no idea existed, called the Lions, which is an additional fee structure. And you go to Tony's house, etc.
I didn't know about this either.
Yeah, I was invited to be a lion, a Lion's Den, in Tony's world in Rhinebeck on the campus of Primrose School.
What?
Jonathan Cohen was a lion, and he invited me up. He's like, you got to come up right now. He had Sage's brother, Scott Humphrey, on the phone. He gave me a key, him a key, these 2 keys. And that happened on the campus of Primrose right there in that combined workspace. Do you know the workspace, the co-working space that's right there?
Yeah, that one that's like right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's was in that space.
He's pointing at his window. He's like pointing at his window.
I can't, I'm blind.
I know you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's.
I was about to describe it to you.
Oh my God! So it was like we weren't in one of the kivas. Jonathan Cohen at that point had an office when you walk first inside of there.
Yeah.
I know the kivas, right? I drew over the wall for hours with Matt and Jonathan in the kivas, creating or
Yes.
sharing the framework of Unblinded before
Wow.
we actually launched. So
Did you
that
sit
is-
in ceremony with Francois and Kelly as well?
I did not. So I
Okay.
did not, but I do know who those fine folks are.
Yeah.
They're chuckling only, Ben, because these are ceremony sitters to my left.
Gene and I are
Right.
ceremony sitters. Sean
Okay.
Kelly is not a ceremony sitter.
But
Yeah.
I'm an immense person of faith. I do believe in
yeah.
space, but I'm, and Steph and I have an ongoing joke of like what we would have said if we didn't like dive this deep in is I've been like, Stephanie, bend your people.
Ben's my
Like,
people.
Right. It was awesome like that. So love you being here. And there's more, like, we're not done. Like, there's more.
Okay. I didn't even know. I put my timer on. I was like, let's go.
No. Well,
I didn't know if I was being judged already or not. So I just assume I'm there.
Well, thank you, brother. So we're going to introduce everybody, and then we're going to play the game, and then you're going to get to...
So I was like a little quick out of the cannon. I got
It's all good.
I really appreciate you all being so gracious. This is really exciting. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ben. Gina, we got Ben as a participant, like all sorts of ties. And by the way, I'm not confused. Lions Den, Tony Robbins Lions. This is crazy.
Extraordinary.
So Gina, please.
Yes. Oh my gosh, amazing.
And I was a Columbia Lion. That was my college
Oh my
baseball
gosh.
team. And my Caligari Law, our logo is a lion. I created that long before I ever knew of Tony Robbins Lions. Also, this is like lions are everywhere. So yes,
Wow.
Gina, please.
Okay, I know your spirit animal, Sean. Next up is Antonio Vaglica. Hopefully I said that right. Antonio from New York, with dreams, Sean, dreams of playing pro baseball as a catcher. So more intersection. He received a D1 South Carolina upstate scholarship, having opportunities to play pro ball overseas. He hung up his cleats, though, and glove in 2019 because he was interviewed by the one, the only Rob Gill on his podcast, pursued Rob relentlessly for 6 months. Sound familiar? To ecosystem merge, and is now part of Epic. Please join me in welcoming Antonio Vaglica to the real Raw.
Thanks for having me.
Antonio, how are you, brother?
Better than I deserve. If I was any better, it'd be illegal. I mean that.
Awesome. And what is your fun fact, my friend? First of all, what'd you play overseas? What country?
I passed up on playing overseas because as you know, as a baseball player, you go down that independent ball route. It's like you look up one day and you're 30 years old, married with kids, and you're making $5 grand a year, and you're like, what is this all worth? So I did go to LIU Post, which you hate because you hit the longest home run ever there. That wasn't a home run. I think that's what you told me.
You've heard me tell that story. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I tried to show you a video because you do such a great job of not making people realize you're blind. And I was like, I went to go show you a video, and someone was like, nudge me, like, hey, he's blind. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, dude, first of all, that's unbelievable. And the story is, I was going into playing at LIU. I was the 9th hitter Division I in America. This is 1991, my junior year. And I was batting .467. I had the clip from the USA Today in the top 10 hitters in the country. It was like Oklahoma State and Fresno State and Stanford and, me from Columbia. And we go to LIU, who at that time, they had a good baseball team, but like that wasn't like playing Notre Dame, who I, went 2 for 4 against, or Vanderbilt, who went 2 for 4 against that year. So we go to play LIU, and I hit the ball like there's a term in baseball, on the screws. I mean, just crush it every at bat and go 0 for 5. And it was my first or second at bat. I think it was my first at bat, actually. I hit a ball as far as I've ever hit a baseball, right? And there's no way, it's not an exaggeration, that it was under 450 feet, because I've hit home runs on 400-foot center field fences. It was the longest ball I ever hit. There's no center field fence at LIU. It was like 600 feet away. It was like one of those fields that just went forever. Like it angled outward, so it had like really no center field, no right field fence at that time. And the center fielder, what must have been playing, I was batting cleanup. Center fielder must have I can't even imagine how deep he was playing to begin with. Run. And I'm like, I'm gonna have a home run and run around the bases for. The dude, like full sprint, catches the ball behind him like Willie Mays in my first at bat. And I'm like really upset and frustrated. My self-mastery, which we talked about tons of, was completely out of whack, right?
You can imagine this. I can imagine.
John McEnroe.
Yeah, and it gets worse each at bat, but I hit the ball hard every time. Like the next at bat, I hit a line drive down the first base line. First baseman dove and caught it. I'm like, are you mother effing kidding me? My next at bat, I crush a line drive up the middle. The pitcher protects himself and catches the ball. And then I had 2 other at bats where I hit the ball hard. And from that game, I went, it was 0 for 5 there. I went 1 from my next 16 because I started like doing all kinds of stuff. I was all pissed off and crazy. I still had a great season. I was still All-State in New York, but LIU was the beginning of it's not LIU's responsibility, it was my responsibility and my self-mastery for complete unraveling. I still teach on that point in our self-mastery and how we can destroy like where we are. Now, I was all Ivy, I was All-State, I played Yankee Stadium that year, but I knew how much I screwed up that entire season because I got in my head and lost my self-mastery. So yes, that is the truth of LIU, but it doesn't bring up bad feelings. It's like a great learning. I'm so thankful it happened. I've been able to teach, learn from it. I still make that mistake sometimes, not a lot, but it's present. So brother, awesome. And yes, I am also present to Antonio, the dynamic of being 30 and waking up not playing professionally. So I often thank God for my blindness because I'm, I think there's obviously a great chance I would never have been a Major League Baseball player, but I could have bounced around the minor leagues like some of my college friends that played 5, 6, 7 years. And they all of a sudden woke up and they were close to 30 and they never came back. They never came back. They ended up with gambling problems, drinking problems, all kinds of things. Wonderful people, Columbia, undergrads, and kind of never made their way. So what is your fun fact, my friend? And thank you for bringing up that story.
A fun fact about me. Sure. I own the trademark because I guess it's on the agenda for the same thing with the athletes thing. I own the trademark to this thing called Consistency Wins. That's the brand that I want to grow. And that's specifically for people who are just feeling that way, right? There's so many of those athletes that never actually realized that goal and they had no backup plan. And all they wanted to do was play a specific sport. And now the real world's telling them just to get some BS job, just to start making money. But they really have the work ethic and the discipline for sales and entrepreneurship.
Amen.
And not mentorship or an organization to give them that. So I want to be that person for them.
Yeah. And Antonio and everybody, how about the people who do make it and live an average lifespan of 3 years in the NFL, for example? There's a lot of NFL, not a lot, I have a meaningful number of NFL friends, guys that were very prominent, like Nick Lowry, super connected in the NFL, Tony Richardson, who every retiring NFL player goes across their desk. I had the privilege of having dinner with him in New York about a month and a half ago, right before the AFP Gala. And the conversation we're having also at Lee Steinberg, the Jerry Maguire, was all about this topic, Antonio. And even players that make it, we're having a conversation about like you and I that didn't make it, right? But all the guys that make it, what if you make it as a right guard, backup right guard in the NFL? Your career lifespan is 3 years. And you make, $500,000 a year for 3 years, $250 after taxes, you pay off your student, you probably a scholarship, buy your mom a house, buy a house for yourself, and all of a sudden you're broke.
Yep.
You're 25, you made it, you made the dream, you're a hometown hero, everybody knows your name. Now, what do you do at 25 for the rest of your life when you have no money and you're flying around the world as an NFL player, everybody loving you because you walked in on the team bus? Now what? So I am present to it and with you. And that's a major challenge for some extraordinary human beings that achieved at the highest level imaginable. And what's next? So, Antonio, I love the mission. I love that you're here and lots more to talk about, brother. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Gina.
Our first judge, Sean and Stephanie, is Alan Chamo from Miami, Florida. Sorry, my dog is jumping on me. Alan is a well-known, wait, Sean, hold on. Do you believe in magic?
I do. I think everybody wants money, time, and or magic. Yes.
Perfect. Alan's a well-known mentalist and magician who does events at some of the world's premier businesses, such as McDonald's and Kellogg's, and he began his magical journey as a child learning magic, along the way transforming it to powerful business, where he brings it to the masses. Please, everyone join me in welcoming Alan Chamo to the world.
Wow, what a build-up, what a build-up.
I'm very scared already because I don't even know what you're thinking, but I can already feel something like Alan, magician, somehow involving Stephanie, doing crazy, disappearing. I don't know what's going on in your head, but
well, I'm instantly, Alan, grateful for you being here and hyper impressed because my life's work is in the belief that we can read minds without reading minds. And I think maybe you could actually read minds, but my hallucination might be that there's incredible powers of discernment that you've created in your life that are incredibly interesting to me. So thank you for being here. And what's your mission, brother? Like, what are you looking to do in the world?
Thank you for having me. Well, first of all, my mission is entertaining and really being on stages and bringing value to people. And my mission has changed throughout the years, especially in the past 2 years, as you can imagine, for a person that It used to be on stages and in front of a lot of people. Suddenly, something like the pandemic happens, and I used to perform a lot for the largest cruise lines in the world up until March 2020. And March 9, 2020 was the last cruise I've done. I disembarked in Honolulu on a cruise, and since then everything disappeared like magic, as you can imagine. No more gigs. But I realized that people need that connection, and they need entertainment even if they're confined to their home. And I immediately jumped on that, and I started doing shows on Zoom, even though I didn't really know how to use Zoom back then. And now I became an expert on Zoom, but back then I had no idea. And I started performing and calling my clients, and what started as the worst year ever ended up as my record year. And this
Yes,
year,
look at that.
it.
Alan, that's an awesome job, brother. Love hearing it. And what is your fun fact? Something we might not expect to know about Alan.
Fun fact, I convinced the Israeli Defense Forces that they need a full-time magician, and I became the first magician in the Israeli Defense Forces.
Wow.
Dude, that is, so you convinced, you went from hello to yes with the Israeli Defense Forces that they need a full-time magician.
But it took me time.
I get it.
Story, yeah,
don't diminish what you did, because it
it's not
time, but you did it. Is that true?
No, it's huge. It's huge, and they still have a magician full time. By the way, it's been close to 20 years since 20 years.
Wow.
And they still have a full time magician.
I think you know what? I think we need a full time magician.
I
think just like hanging out, you're like, yes, can you please do some magic?
I think so.
Yes, but actually, I think maybe we're all full time magicians. I think like that might be happening.
Yes, I would agree.
So, Alan, you're extraordinary, brother. Thank you for being here. You ready to have some fun today?
Yeah, I'm sure. I wasn't ready to perform, by the way, but if you guys want, I can do a little warm up for everybody. Maybe everybody go like this. Just put your fingers and wiggle them. Yes, yeah, you get. And now cross your arms. Okay, cross your arms, and now interlace your fingers with your thumbs facing down. Wow, everybody follows instructions. It's like you're married or something. Very good, very good. Yes. Cora, I don't see your arms. Put them up like this. Yes, very good. Now go like this with your pinkies and like this with your thumbs. And now 1, 2, 3, and thumbs up, everybody. That's stuck, huh? Well, I will put some suggestions in your mind. That's what I normally do in the show. I normally say a mentalist is like a magician with some mental issues.
So Alan, love it, brother, and we're gonna have some fun today for sure. We're gonna make magic happen and make the impossible and what we don't see appear. That's what we do here every day. So loving what you do, loving your presence, and thank you.
All right, thank you for having me.
G Money.
Wow, what an incredible group today. Sean Callagy, Stephanie, we have Ms. Elena Genova from Miami, Florida, Tony Crew, former #1 pro tennis player from the Ukraine.
What?
Completed, yes, hold on, Sean. Guess what kind of school she completed in sports law? Then you're going to know. She is also, so she's completed law school. She's a realtor and a real estate investor and founder of her own brand, Athletico, created like collapsible water bottles for big and small athletes. And by the way, she came to our Miami immersion. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming Elena Genova to the river.
Thank you.
Elena.
Thank you.
Elena, you were the #1 tennis player in the Ukraine?
Yeah, so my quick story, I kind of really can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfectly.
Okay, I'm not sure. So I really can relate to Antonio. So, I was growing up, I got locked out. I think I looked as a little kid very athletic. My parents look athletic. I was taken into a free group as growing up, because tennis is extremely elite and expensive sport. Fast forward, I guess I showed, results, started winning tournaments, was #1 in Ukraine. Probably the names that
Elena, you're saying that like that's not a big deal? Like that's
It's been some time ago. It is my identity. But it's been some time ago now.
The population of Ukraine is 41,500,000.
You were the #1 women's tennis player to 41 million people, half of them women, so out of 20 million people. One out of 20 million is quite extraordinary. So, but back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, but I mean, fast forward, I think you may have heard like Clem Kleisters, Helena Dementia, those people who actually beat in my career. But my father died when I was 14, and pretty much, no money, no support. Being in Ukraine, unfortunately, didn't happen. Like it doesn't happen for many, many, many talented people in the sport, right? So very fast forward, I got scholarship playing college in Oklahoma University. I'm sure you know Boomer Sooners.
Go Sooners.
Boomer
Go
Sooner. My mama
Sooners.
was a Boomer Sooner.
Yes,
Yep.
it's incredible.
So got scholarship, played there. Kind of was not.
You have a
not what
Sooner
I
probably
expected.
watching you right now.
She definitely is probably watching
There's an
right now.
Oklahoma Sooner watching you right now. Stephanie's mom watches like every day.
It'll be moments that a text will come across the screen that she'll be like saying hi and like watching and Go Sooners or something.
Yeah. So I mean, again, fast forward, try to go back to pro, but money is an issue. Then converted to education aspect, got my master's in sport management and sports law. Then went to Brazil, Switzerland, actually practicing that sports law in sports firm. And then another curveball, a good one, but tough one. I got, pregnant, had my daughter, and now just switched to real estate investments, which doing really well. And, like Gina mentioned, also launched my brand with collapsible water bottle, which is, tennis, soccer, baseball. We're growing in Amazon, Walmart marketplace, and hopefully with that brand can give back, as a charity to Ukraine, to grow tennis, to, empower kids and help them on their journey. Because I feel, being an athlete brings much, much more than just physical strength. It's really hone you as a individual and character, no matter if you make it or not.
Well, amazing, Elena. Thank you so much for being here. I'm hearing fun fact: 1 out of 20 million. That's a fun fact.
That is a fun fact.
That is a very
That
fun
is
fact.
very
Yeah.
fun.
Not even you were 1 out of 20 million in selling crafts on your front lawn.
I could have been close though.
It could have been.
I mean, how many children are in just the state of Texas? There could be 20 million children in the
That's
state
true.
of
You could have
Texas.
been the #1 craft seller on your front lawn in Texas.
I could have been.
That's true. Let's see. What is the population of Texas?
As of 2020, the population of Texas was 28,009,000.
No, there's definitely not 20 million kids, so you don't quite make it. But I'm
No,
sure you're
but-
#1 out of a lot. Okay. So Elena, thank you for being here. G Money, we got Elena, we got Alan as judges, and
we have Mr. Michael Corwin from LA, California. This man helped build and grow a small company called Beachbody. Beachbody. He's currently the president of Advanced Alliances, delivering vast strategic expertise, and works side by side with the one and only Brendan Murphy, growing FlexWorks, a leader in end-to-end network transformation and securing connectivity. Please join me in welcoming Michael Corwin to The Real Raw.
Michael, from beach bodies to the Real Raw and making magic happen in the world. What's the mission, brother?
The mission is to help people scale companies. That's what I do. So that's what I'm working on with Brendan right now. He's a talent and he just needs someone to augment him, and I'm here to help him grow.
Awesome, Michael.
So I do that for a lot of companies.
Beautiful, brother. And what is your fun fact, Michael?
My fun fact, well, I was thinking about that. I was so unprepared for this. You all are so prepared. But my fun fact, on the night that Angelina Jolie won her Oscar, I delivered her shoes to her.
That is a fun fact.
That is absolutely awesome. Love it. And thank you for being here, Michael. And super
Glad to
fired
be
up
here.
to get to know you better. G Money.
Next up, the one, the only. She sold not tots on her front lawn, crafts. Yeah, crafts. Sean Gallagher, please take it away.
Yes, crafts, not tots.
No.
She was a tot selling crafts, not a craft selling tots. Yes, it was. Thank goodness. Okay, so yes, this woman started out in a successful sales career, sitting on her front lawn with her parents, and she went from low days with her parents to front all of the expenses. Shows she's creating 100% net profit at the age of 8. Well, I was running away from my aunts at Thanksgiving who wanted to give me a hug and a kiss and hiding in the corner. She was extroverted, energized, ready to go, progressed to be a 7-figure earner in the space of network marketing, building that heart, that courage, those dynamics. And she was not allowed to make income claims. So her favorite statement, and she would say it 100 miles an hour, was, and you can earn an above average income working with Mr. what?
Bill Gould.
Mr. Bill Gold told me how to make an above average income. So if you come work with our company, you're gonna make an above average income. So again, my name is Stephanie Vihan and I make an above average income. And she was on a video saying, I make an above average income 27 times, all the way to being a 7-figure earnings-based network marketing. And I am not exaggerating. Then she became the number one, not number 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, not number 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, but number 1 business broker in the state of Nevada at the ripe, old, young, whatever you call it, age of 24. First woman, youngest person ever, dropped the mic. Now she is the co-host of The Real Raw. More than 3,000 amazing people have not seen this show, have been on the show since the beginning of COVID. 3,000 guests. That's a lot of guests.
A lot of guests.
Yes, more than 500 shows, rocking it. Celebrities, athletes, entrepreneurs, coaches, trainers, speakers, authors, all the things, all the people, all those people you saw in the beginning have been on here, except Tony hasn't been on here yet. Joseph McClendon has. Tony Robbins has not been on here, but he did say something Stephanie will tell you a little bit later about. And the one, the only, let's welcome her to her show, my boss, Stephanie Ann Vihan. And our audience is asleep at the switch again.
Our audience is definitely.
I got you. Woo-hoo.
Yes.
Gina's got me. Gina's got the shoo, the shoo sounds that they normally play.
Yes, woo, choo-choo. And we're somebody, and you know, the person who's supposed to be doing it, you know what they're doing?
What are they doing? They're sleeping.
Yes, they're sleeping, but that's okay because we all, yes, come to hello to no's and hello to yeses. Thank you very much. What is your fun fact?
Oh, my fun fact is, you guys, yesterday, was it yesterday? Could have been the day before. No, wait, today is Wednesday, right? Okay, so yesterday was Tuesday. These days go really long around here.
Yes.
So yesterday I was in Tony Robbins' studio and this incredible, amazing speaker got on stage, blew the roof off of the place. Like nobody wanted him to get off stage and people like had to like come and like, you know, exit him off stage, or, you know, he would just be there all day because he was so captivating. It was absolutely incredible. And I was so honored to be there. And you know what my fun fact is? I happen to be sitting next to that guy today. Holy moly, it's Sean Callagy.
No, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that very much, Steph. And it is an honor. I had the honor of taking Tony's stage for the 14th time yesterday. And his work in the world is extraordinary. And I think what is the most interesting to me, maybe this is a great jumping point to the show, is that if you were to Google Tony Robbins, you're to Google Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, you're to Google Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, Ellen DeGeneres, Mother Teresa, Margaret Thatcher, Eleanor Roosevelt. Heck, if you were even Googling, ready for this? Helen Keller, Gandhi, Jesus, what you would find are hundreds of thousands for each of them, if not millions of hits saying horrible things.
Yep.
Yep. Because the world lives in a space. This is no judgment or blame. The behavior, though, is that we all want to create leadership. We all want to create impact. And there's two challenges. Number one, a lot of folks get really upset, frustrated, hurt that they're not able to get there. And their best way of feeling more significant is to tear people down. And the other side of it is so many of us want the things, but we don't go ahead and do the work. You know, so what the work we're doing here, though, is without the superpower of influence, we don't create any of those outcomes, not in our marketing, our selling, our managing, our recruiting, our fundraising for not-for-profit, and certainly our leadership. The inability to go from hello to yes. So like, oh, I know what this means. You mean like sales training? I don't think so. We've made a bet with Jordan Belfort. We've made a bet with, who's that other guy? Who's the other guy?
Grant Cardone.
Oh yeah, that guy. For $250,000 each, and crickets. And not for ego, not for significance, but both of those people stand for non-integrous influence.
Yeah.
Jordan Belfort got famous, lying, cheating, and stealing, which he, readily accepts, and I don't diminish him. It's how he got famous. And he teaches straight line selling, which is the mechanism they use to steal people's money and investments. Grant Cardone put out a video at the beginning of the pandemic, which said his world was collapsing, the sky was falling, everything was being lost. And then he came out 2 days later and said, I was just kidding. But you got to do anything you can to generate attention. Well, number one, I don't know if he was kidding. And I think he may have been generating actual leverage over the banks and the people he borrowed money from. I don't know that to be true, But if you lied about the first thing, I think you might be lying about the second thing. And in our world where we create drama, we create division in the news, the traditional news media. And by the way, it's not a political statement. I am not a Democrat or Republican. I am repulsed by the behavior that our leadership shows on both sides of the equation in vilification, judgment, blame, and division. I stand for integrity, truth. I love this country. I love entrepreneurship. I love capitalism. And I was blessed as somebody who was going blind, grew up with no money in my family to understand how capitalism could work with integrity, grow, build, scale business, and go from hello to yes to superpower of influence. And that's what we're playing with. We're not playing with all the ways of what to do with it, right? But that matters. We're not playing with all the ways to get ourselves to use it emotionally, which matters. We're talking about the middle component, which is actually just the ability to go from hello to yes. And to get on Tony Robbins' stage, let me tell you something. I didn't just call him up and go, hey, Tony, can I jump up on your stage and help you out? Millions of people want to get there. There was endless series of hello yeses, raising millions of dollars for charity. We've done endless series of hello yeses, building, scaling, growing businesses, including my own law firm. I currently own with 100 people as an owner and operator, no ego attached. I'm just sharing my 40 time and my bench if we're in an NFL combine, because we're quantifying here and over time and building this platform as we beautifully have it now to quantify influence, integrous influence. Because P.S., the thing I am arguably most proud of in the space of influence, or one of the things I'm most proud of, is there was a Ponzi schemer in South Florida. We got some South Florida folks on today, Scott Rothstein, and he wanted $8 million from my client. And he took $1 billion from people. He had a 300-person law firm. He knew the governor of Florida. He was famous. He was popular, rocking and rolling, much like Bernie Madoff was. And it was $1 billion Ponzi scheme. And I was the first person to report him to the FBI. He's now doing 45 years in federal prison, because when integrous influence meets non-integrous influence in the end always wins. And that's what we're trying to arm people with in the world. So,
Sean, you know what? I did make a mistake. I'm right. Like, you're always right. Gosh. Well,
I am definitely.
Yeah, let's not put that out.
Wait,
He's always right.
No,
Let's not do
I am
that.
definitely not always right, unless it's something to do with Stephanie. Then I'm always right. I'm always right. But Gina, got
you knew there was one more person. This extraordinary entrepreneur, Sean. Please forgive me, Ms. Cora Woodman. I'm sorry, guys. Cora's with us. She was brought to us by this extraordinary woman who was here Monday and joined Unblinded and is incredible. Cora's an entrepreneur, Sean.
Oh, wait, Cora, are you Stormy's friend?
I am Stormy's friend.
Yes, please forgive me. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
We're saving the best for last, Cora.
Yes. Wait, just like you, Bella, she's a six-figure earner in the network marketing space, as well as a real estate broker. Just real quick, she also guides business leaders, but she did all of this, Sean, while raising 3 kids with her severe asthma and being an incredible stay-at-home mom. She has an entrepreneurial spirit. Please forgive me, and please welcome Cora Woodman to The Real Raw, everyone.
Oh, our audience is back.
Our audience is back. This is amazing.
They
Cora,
woke up from their nap.
they came back for you, Cora, and that was all being staged so we can have your grand entrance. So Cora, first of all, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's very exciting.
And what is your fun fact, please?
Oh, my fun fact. Well, I live in a place that I can surf and ski in the same weekend.
Ooh, can we guess?
For all those surfing people out here, yes. And I think the other thing that's interesting about me is I always joke that I identify as a stay-at-home mom, but I'm actually a really badass entrepreneur, and most people don't even know it.
I love it. I love the Zeus energy drop, and that was a beautiful example of energetic contrast, where there's a little bit of fun, there was heart before, and then dropping in with her badassness. I love that, Cora. That was awesome. Energy felt, energy received. And where is it that you live that you can surf and ski the same day?
I live on Vancouver Island, which is west coast of Canada.
Oh my God. So that is absolutely amazing. So you can go to Cypress Mountain, right? And then is that what you're talking about or no?
Well, we ski at Mount Washington, which is kind of midway up. And then if we just get in the car and drive down with our surfboards, we can hit Tofino in the same weekend and catch some waves. And
so for anybody who's not present to how badass Cora actually is, I've had the privilege of being a scuba diver, certified scuba diver now for 38 years. Wow. Is that crazy? I've been a certified scuba diver for 38 years. And I've gone scuba diving.
I'm barely even that old.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, that is true. So, and
I've been certified in a rock quarry in Hamburg, New Jersey, right before Thanksgiving. Rock quarries are cold. New Jersey is cold before Thanksgiving. But the coldest scuba dive I've ever done in my life, by far, not close, was in Vancouver in August. So that is some cold water, Cora. So you are absolutely a rock star. There's no doubt.
It's super cold. I think the water only changes temperatures by 2 degrees from the summer to the winter.
Yeah, and when we're down at 90 feet, the water temperature is like 34 degrees Fahrenheit. We did not have dry suits, my son and I, and everybody else was in a dry suit because we weren't really planning on going diving. Didn't have any extra dive suits, and we were doing like what you're talking about, just going to the top of Whistler and doing the diving thing. And it was 34 degrees in a wetsuit. P.S. Wetsuit lets in cold water. It was so ungodly cold. So Cora, you are straight up gangster rock star, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. There are tricks and tips that the locals know on how to get their wetsuits warm, by the way.
Ooh.
I think I know this trick.
I think you might know this trick.
I might know this trick.
Because Cora, Stephanie has another quick fun fact about surfing. What's your fun fact about surfing?
My fun fact about surfing is I learned to surf from a blind man.
That is a fun
blind
fact.
man.
Yes, so that would be a fun fact.
That is a fun fact.
Thank you, Cora. Thank you, everybody. Went a little bit
for
longer.
having me.
Yeah, thank you. With intros than normal, because extraordinary people, fun stories, craziness, or a little behind sketch, but we're going to get to all the things. Gina, we love you. Peace out. Goodbye from the multiverse.
Thank you. Ciao, everyone. Thank you, guys. Bye for now.
Let's go first.
Let's roll with Ben.
Yes, Ben has a lot to share. Beautiful heart, soul. Matt Johnston's friend. Any friend of David Rush and Matt Johnston is a friend of ours.
Yes.
Yeah, because by the way, David Rush, I think Matt Johnston might be as a second place finisher. And I say this with absolute love because they have the most heart-centered, incredible people. But both of them, they're so interesting, dynamic, and unique that I wouldn't be shocked if either was a serial killer. So I go through Ben often. Like, who do you know that you'd be like, yeah, I love them. They're absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't be shocked if they were a serial killer. They both fall in that basket.
Yeah,
because
heart-centered
so
leaders.
Brilliant and unique.
Yes, yeah, so brilliant, so unique, so good.
Totally
By the way, nothing violent about them. It'll be like, you go, holy cow,
they'll hug you to
But
death.
most serial killers aren't really violent unless they're chopping people up. They don't live violent
right, they
lives.
had that. They're so peaceful, so heart-centered, so smart, so brilliant, so unique, so creative. And you'd be like,
and they're burying people in their backyard.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It doesn't look like a monster. It looks like those dudes, good-looking dudes, fun guys, great people, and yeah, I didn't know Matt was a serial killer. And
So I should keep my doors locked.
Yes, Ben, I would say so. I'm
Okay.
just kidding. Amazing people. I love them the way.
He doesn't
then
know
we're
where my
doing
spare key is.
exactly. So we're going from hello to yes with Stephanie, and it could be funny. It could be she could be Sean Callagy coming to your program. She could be an ideal client. She could be a book deal. She could be you talking about to Oprah about how she should be allowing you to come on her show and promote your amazingness. It could be Dell bringing you back in to have a conversation about ... Whatever a yes for you would matter. We're not talking pitching, hooking, closing. This is not a sales training. It's an influence training. Sales is a subset of influence. It's how we go from hello to yes and any of the things. Whatever resonates for your heart, and it doesn't have to be crammed into the ultimate yes. It's the next yes. So it could be a 3-minute conversation to build a larger conversation into a 30-minute conversation. Or it could be write a check, swipe a credit card, whatever resonates on your heart, Ben, that's what it is. And my friend, who would you like Stephanie to be?
Beautiful. After that, I am transforming Stephanie from Sean Callagy to Oprah.
Ooh. Let's do the thing.
So Oprah.
Yes, Oprah wishes she was Stephanie, but you'll just have to deal with that for now until So yes.
Hello, this is Oprah.
Oprah, dude, this is the Dell dude, Ben Curtis.
Yes, it's been a very long time since I've seen one of those commercials, but yes.
It has been a long time. Well, they're actually back. And Oprah, I'm calling because 20 years ago, you said something about vulnerability that changed my life. I had just survived 9/11. I moved to New York as an actor, and I moved into Ground Zero. And that was right when the Dell commercials were starting. And I thought my life was over. I got arrested. From pot, which you probably heard about, and I had post-traumatic stress that was undiagnosed, and I was just going through a really rough time, and I couldn't even get hired as an actor. And I was listening to one of your podcasts, and I grew up with you, being a child from the '80s, watching you on TV, and you said something about vulnerability in men, and it reminded me of something my father said to me a long time ago, that some of the most evil people are the people that feel most that are doing the most damage. These men, these bullies, are actually people who are hurting more than you and I will ever recognize. And you, as a sensitive, beautiful man, your tears are what's needed in the world, and your vulnerability is important, and your pain is your purpose. And if you speak your truth, nothing can stop you.
Yes.
And Oprah, you said that. And so through that never left me, and I've literally lived my life from heart forward ever since then. And I've built an incredible coaching business where I save men's lives every day. And now I've created, the Dell commercials are back as a result. Dell has actually sought me out for what they're creating. Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's because it's what they're creating on the planet, and we're all out to keep the planet alive. I'm here to serve the people, and they're here to do that through technology. And Oprah, I really believe that I know my story heals and helps so many people every day, and how I healed myself. And I now have my own podcast called Dude, You're Getting Well.
I love that. That's fun.
Tagline you love. And Oprah, I would really love for you to be a guest on there. And not only that, I want to take a step further, and I want to ask you to bring me on my show, bring me on your show, so that people can see me firsthand and allow me to share my heart and what I've learned, and really give the gift that was so freely given to me. Because my main goal is to create more permission for people to love themselves, and that's really who you are for me.
Beautiful. Well, Ben,
what resonates?
I have to run right now, but
I know you don't have much time, but does this resonate with you at all?
It definitely does. I think we could definitely start out with the podcast, and then go from there, Ben. So thank you so much.
I know your time's valuable, so thank you.
Yes,
Ben,
thank you.
Excellent job, my friend. We'll come back to the judges in a moment. Antonio, who would you like Stephanie to be?
Is it okay if Stephanie is just Stephanie, just herself?
I'm so good at that.
Yes, and like the just may be an interesting qualifier, because I think you're amazing.
Thank you, Sean Callaghan.
Yes, so just Stephanie, you ready?
I am ready.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Hello, it's Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie, I just want to let you know that your energy is just super contagious. When I met you at Unblinded Miami, saw you take the stage, just wowed me. Just as someone who does the same thing, able to walk into a room and people just pick up on that energy. I want to know where that sparked from.
Where did the energy spark from? I think I came out of the womb that way. Because my mother would tell you, I started, bossing her around, as a child. So I think I just, and I was always in trouble in school, ADD, my teachers were always calling my parents. So I think I just came out of the womb that way. And I'm blessed with great parents. My mom has an amazing personality. My dad's, he's a pretty funny guy himself. So yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing that. So, #1 business broker at 24 in Nevada. Do you mind unpacking that? As a 25-year-old, I would love to be #1 in that world. So talk to me about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. I think, the biggest thing was great partnerships. So I had a great partnership with a gentleman that, he was really good at going out and, getting the business. He was kind of the face of the company, but I was the one that finished everything, grew the company, built the team. Because when I started with him, he was a team of 1. By the time we left, and he never changed anything. He always did what he did. But by the time we sold, we were a business brokerage of 30. And, I was the one, and I think also, I was the one that always kind of like cleaned up deals in the end, because, I was a young woman playing in a man's world. And so I was just not expected to be a negotiator. So I love to sit at tables. I think one of my favorite pastimes is I love to car shop. I love to negotiate cars. I think it's one of the funnest things in the world. Like, I love to negotiate. I love to come in and close deals up on the end. So
I love that. So I know back at that time, showing up there, that's a total pattern interrupt, right? Being at that table.
Yes.
So that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So,
yeah.
Hey, where are you at now? I know, 7-figure earner in network marketing. Why don't you unpack that for me if you don't mind?
Yeah, and I want to know, Antonio, what I can do for you, because I only have about 30 more seconds. So now I'm with Unblinded, co-host of The Real Raw, chief news officer to Sean Callaghy, doing all kinds of things here at Unblinded. So that is my mission and mission at the current moment. Yes.
Cool. So I know your time is really valuable and we got maybe 10 seconds. So what I'd like to do, with your permission, if maybe we could exchange contact information, I'd love to learn more about how I can serve your community. I'm all about giving. We work with tons of organizations by sharing a stage and a microphone for each, by giving them the ability to share all different opportunities that they bring to each ecosystem. So I would love to just share contact information. We could schedule a little bit longer call. Is that possible?
Yeah, can you give me like just 10 seconds? I know we're over time and I got to run, but just I'm not even clear on what you do and why I might want to give you my contact information.
Yeah, so that's a loaded answer, but primarily we help a lot of people in the financial services industry. We teach people how to pretty much sort out their financial junk drawer. Most people do their finances in silos. The fiduciary is not talking to the accountant, who's not talking to the insurance agent. We like to put that together and streamline that process so that people can excel their freedom journey.
Beautiful.
Yeah, excuse Stephanie, hold on. The IRS is calling for you.
I think that's for you. I'm busy.
Antonio.
That was great.
Excellent job. Let's go to the judges on Ben and Antonio, please.
Yes. So let's start with Cora. Your feedback for Ben.
Yeah.
30 seconds of 30 seconds of feedback. Like, something that he did well, something that he could improve on, and a score from 1 to 10. 1 being like, oh my God, you would like dive in this pool with full clothes on just to get away from talking to him. 5 being like, you might meet him at Starbucks for like a 30-minute cup of coffee. And 10 being you would sit down at Capitol Grill, have a steak dinner, might even buy the steak dinner because you are so enthralled and want to hear more about what he has to say. So your 30 seconds of feedback for Ben and Cora.
Okay, well, Ben, I thought you did a really great job. I felt your passion, your heart, your desire, your heart of service. But what I found, I think, for the results that you're looking for was maybe living in the story rather than on the story. And I think that you can get way more concise to be able to deliver that exact message because you've got it. We can feel it. And then that would result in that closing with Oprah. So I'm going to give you about an 8 out of 10.
It's great feedback, Cora. Excellent. How about for Antonio?
Oh,
I'm sorry. No. Yes, forgive me.
I thought I was the boss, Sean.
You're the boss. Please.
I am the boss.
Yes.
You just sit there and look cute, Shawnee Poo.
Thank you. Please.
You want me to go again for Antonio?
No. So next we will go to Michael. Michael, your feedback for Antonio. Oh, you're on mute, Michael.
Like Stephanie, I was unclear, Antonio, with what you were representing and why you were even making an ask. So I thought it was great that you kept the focus on her, but you had to pivot to yourself at some point and make it clear to anyone why you're going to make an ask. And I understand why you waited. I was in financial services as a stockbroker on Wall Street, and I was loath to tell people I was a broker until the very end. So I get it, but it needed to be done to contextualize. I would have, I hate to do this, but I'd give it a 4 out of 10. But I liked your focus on her.
Appreciate
Thank you, Michael. Definitely agree with that.
Excellent, Michael. Steph?
Let's next go to our magic maker, Ellen. Your feedback for Ben.
Oh, for Ben, okay. First of all, I'm not sure that I can really, I'm somebody that can judge Ben like this, but from my understanding,
Alan,
what I felt.
Alan,
yeah.
Are you a human being?
Yeah.
Yep. Do you say yes and no to people every day?
All the time.
You are a qualified judge, please, sir.
Okay, good. So your sensitivity came through. You were great at creating rapport at the beginning of the conversation and relating, and also putting her up on a pedestal, but with something that is very related, and it wasn't just, oh my God, it's Oprah. So that was great. So you did a good job there. So overall, I think you did great. Also the way you asked for it, and you insisted in a nice way, wasn't too pushy. So I would give you like a 7 here, 7.5.
Beautiful.
Excellent job, Alan. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you. I also want to say I keep David Copperfield close because at 4 years old, I was asked to be his assistant, and I said no. But I became a professional magician, and I was for 20 years, and I still do magic today. So
There's
it's
all kinds of magic in the house.
really
Yeah,
cool
full
magicians today.
to see that you're a magician. It's really cool.
Yes, and can I have share a David Copperfield fun fact?
Yes.
I assessed the fine folks that he calls up to illustrate tricks with, and there's an immense synergistic common denominator every time.
What is
Can we
that?
guess what that is? They would be women who were physically presentable. A consistent pattern of every time I've seen David Copperfield. It's just miraculous how that happens.
How interesting how that happens.
Yes.
Well, I could also speak
but
for the
not
fact
least,
that he has
let's
called
go
me.
to-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it
last
wasn't
but
all
not
women.
least, I'm gonna
Yes.
move on. Last but not least, we have Elena. Your feedback for Antonio.
So I will start with where I think he could improve on. I heard a lot from what he was doing is a system of unblinded. So he's trying to shift on how he can serve, right? Whether what it is that he needs for himself. So I like fully understand where he was coming from. What he could do better is time it a little bit better, understanding that he needs to, the person has limited amount of time and that he needs to kind of put his message out there also. So I would just put it in a little bit more concise manner and maybe
Beautiful.
practice on how
And
to
Elena, your score for Antonio.
So I would score 5, not because he didn't do a good job, but probably because he didn't time it so he could put it all together.
Amazing. Okay.
All right. So,
So-
Sean Callaghan.
No, I got it.
Okay.
So listen. So we have ran slightly long, but we do want to do. Stephanie wants to put me on the hot seat, which she's going to say in a second. I'm going to step away, let you do your fun thing. We normally have fun. We joke about it, putting me in the hot seat, but every day we love to illustrate the superpower of influence. And I have a thought. The way that Ben's scenario with Oprah, I would love to redo that scenario and give some thoughts to the group on it. But I will step away. I'll leave it to you and this group to sort out in 60 seconds if you can come up with any other scenario. Make it as hard as you want, as crazy as you want. I'm happy to do the Oprah scenario, and Oprah can be as difficult, it can be Oprah's people. Make it as hard as possible on me as you
So like
want
someone
to.
getting on the Oprah show?
Whatever, what Ben was doing to talk to Oprah,
Okay.
or get on the show, whichever it is, with a producer from Oprah or herself, or any other scenario. I would say let's do. This is an incredible group. Let's make it less like fun. Like let's make it less ice cream to Eskimos, because we've done like selling ice to Eskimos. Let's do less of that and like a really meaningfully impactful scenario with this high level group. So that's my thought, but I'll do ice to Eskimos. You guys decide together. 60 seconds.
Okay. So this is the point in the show, what Sean is talking about, where, we get to see him go from hello to yes. We get to set up any kind of scenario with anyone. So what he's saying is someone here could play Oprah and he would go from hello to yes from Oprah to show the magic and the impact of what the formula is for actually going from hello to yes. So we can come up with a different scenario or we can do the Oprah scenario. What do you guys think?
This is really powerful. Personally, I actually have a meeting in 10 minutes, so I'm not sure how long this will be that I can stick through.
It'll only
but
take 3 minutes as long as we
I
make
would
a
say
quick
we would.
decision.
Are we pitching to him?
No. He's doing it. He's going to do the demonstration. We can be done here, wrapped up in 10 minutes. So is that a scenario that we want to go with? Thumbs up.
Wait,
or
let's do that. He tries to sell us an extended car warranty.
No, because that's not like he's not selling to a group. So let's just run with the Oprah since Ben's got to
All
run.
right.
So, Sean, come on back.
Oprah.
All right, here we
So
go.
who do we want to play?
Cora.
Cora, you want to
she
play
was
Oprah?
she was on. Cora, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So you guys just say real quick, is producer for Oprah or Oprah? Which one do you guys go with? Everybody just say one or the other real quick. Steph.
Oprah herself.
All right.
Oprah.
Okay. All right.
I'll
so
be
we got-
Oprah.
All right, cool. So Cora, so Miss Oprah, I am Miss Winfrey. I'm so grateful for the 3 minutes. I understand it is utterly preposterous for me and beyond comprehension to be speaking to you. Not that I think that any human being is less or more than another, but your world is absolutely extraordinary. Thank you for these now 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I really appreciate it. And do you still have those 3 minutes?
I do. Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. So, Ms. Winfrey, and I will use the time wisely and I'll get to a direct outcome. But may I ask you, why do you still do what it is that you do? You are a multi-billionaire. You've created impact beyond the comprehension of almost any human being in this country, maybe in the world. Like, your name is synonymous with heart and impact. Why are you still driven and going? What's the mission, Ms. Winfrey?
I just have a real heart of service and a passion to serve others, to leave great impact and make our world a better place, is really why I do what I do.
Thank you. May I ask this, because you hear everybody wants your attention. Everybody wants, they know that, like Dr. Phil, you wave your hand, you have the superpower of influence. You wave your hand like this and you make somebody into a best-selling author and a centimillionaire. It's absolutely incredible, right? So I get it, and you hear it all day. What do you look for in the people that you bestow the magic, the blessing of Oprah? What is it that you look for in those people truly? How do you discern it?
Well, I think part of it is they need to lead with the same heart of service. They have to have integrity, and they have to have some sort of personal experience that can translate through to the masses, that people are going to identify themselves with to create impact, really is what I look for.
Yeah, thank you. And it's got to be such a hard job of discernment, because so many incredible people with incredible stories. So I know we're down to the final minute or so. May I share just a little bit about me? And again, thank you for the impact you're having in the world. Would that be okay if I shared?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I've led an interesting life. I've succeeded at the corporate level. I've succeeded in the commercial world as an actor. I've actually even been a magician. I've had an incredible relationship with Dell, and I've spent time in recovery because I found my way into a complex world of alcohol and drugs, and I've broken free. So I think what I would hope to propose is that either an opportunity, my God, on your show would be beyond comprehension. But even if it was somebody, you or somebody even on your team, to come on my podcast, I want to earn your trust and respect. I want to add massive value to you, Miss Winfrey, and I will do what it takes. You did what it took to get here. And I get that the fact that I'm on this call with you, I have a lot of respect for myself and what I've accomplished, is a gift. I want to earn that gift and not lose the opportunity. So we have to start smaller. I will start as tiny as you see fit, but I would love, any opportunity I can, including having you on my podcast or your show. My mission is to change lives. Loads of people say it. I've done it myself personally. I've succeeded in all sorts of different ways, from the large to the corporate, to the most base of humanity and functioning. So I'd love to prove that to you. And I think the podcast would do it. Appearance on your show, of course, would do it. If that's the place to start and that resonates, fantastic. If not, I just want to continue to demonstrate who I am by adding value to your world. I know we're at time. I promise that. What I'd love to do next is continue our conversation, or continue with one of your producers or team members. Where, Ms. Winfrey, would you suggest, if there's some resonance, that we go from here?
I think I hear what you're saying, and I feel like we can have a connection in some capacity. I'm going to get one of my team members to connect with you, and we can move this discussion forward.
Awesome. And then I get the information, ... Ms. Winfrey, thank you so much for that and for all your time and your impact in the world again.
Thank you.
I
look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Out of roll, Cora, how did you feel about that?
I felt great about it. I felt like, I felt like you were setting the stage of why you were attracted to Oprah Winfrey and where that could create impact. And then I really liked the concise pieces of your story to bring why we needed to work together. That was helpful, because then, I just really enjoyed that piece of it.
Awesome. Michael, how'd that feel for you?
I honestly, I felt you asked permission too many times. I've been in the room, and someone like that doesn't need permission 5, 6, 7 times to have that conversation. So I thought you overdid it on that.
Okay.
I'm probably the wrong. That's
ahead,
just
go ahead, Michael.
honest feedback.
Yeah. So no, and by the way, that's why we're here to assess. It's fine. What I would offer is how you create trust though with people. Steph, you want to come in for a second?
Yeah.
So it's not about being right or wrong. I honor Michael's perspective, but an approach, and there's stylistic elements, there's mastery and magic to the art. It's not all pure science. But to what has Tony Robbins said about me?
That there is no one that leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callagy. And if you don't know what he's doing, then you need to.
Right. And I watch people pitch him hundreds of times per 4-day event. And I'm saying with respect and love to everybody who's here, including Ben. Ben came as hard pitch guy. The show started and Ben was like, pitch, 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 right? And so when I went to Tony's house with 40 people in the Lions for the first time for 3 days, I did not talk to Tony for the 3 days. Everybody fought, elbowed, pitched, because I knew that there was going to be more opportunity. I'm always looking to buy the next opportunity to earn value, because I never want to sound the same as anybody else. And I get it, brother. Like, it could have been one too many permissions. Absolutely. Thank you for the integrity of the feedback. I'm always like present to it, right? It's awesome. But the space when we talk about integrous influence is the idea of being in the frame of pitch. Like, in the frame of pitch is something we want out of at all times. And people are like, hey, what's your pitch? I'll be like, I don't have a pitch. And we've broken every sales record. I've had the privilege of breaking every sales record on the stage with the audience because I disrupt the frame of pitch. I stood on Tony Robbins' stage in front of 4,000 people at Business Mastery right before COVID. And somebody got up right in front of me, and they were people who had their own platform. They do real estate coaching at a very high level. They have, 8-figure coaching business. And they went out and pitched and pitched and pitched, like, and the whole crowd shut down. So, and that's before I got up to share. And the first thing I did, I stood up. I said, listen, does anybody feel something weird? You feel this, like, the air of like pitching and sales. Now, I'm friends with these people, but I had a mission to serve those 4,000 people in the audience to like open listening. I said, listen, I'm here because I do want you to say yes. But I want you to say yes because it's about you, not because you hear a bunch of benefits thrown at you. I want to understand what you need. Here's what I think you audience need, I think, is why you're here. And we speak into the listening of people. So that's what I was attempting to illustrate. And I probably did use one too many permissions. I agree with that completely.
Yeah, and I actually agree with what you just said, not to interrupt on the whole group, but I was interpreting the asking permissions as pitches, right? Like, you were pitching for the next section. But what you say about establishing trust and respect is absolutely critical. And I thought you handled that really well at the beginning, but then you went into micro pitches through your section. So it felt like you were in the middle of a pitch.
Okay. Thank you for that feedback. Awesome. Let's go real quick. Elena, how'd that feel for you?
So I think you're doing a great job on this formula altogether, because I've been on your weekend. So I kind of reiterated it in my brain on how it needs to be done. And that, again, you connecting with the person, this 5 level of listening, right? It's just like you integrating of what she actually had to say. So to me, it felt as an 8, if I have to grade it, right? So I agree with Michael that maybe there was a little bit too many permissions. But I also understand why you're doing that, especially with the person who has limited amount of time, and you establishing rapport right as you meeting her.
And I also think too that thank you for that, Elena. When I'm present to all the time, I'll go to Ben real quick next before we have to jump. I'm always present to the hierarchical differences, not as a human being, but in terms of just being in the room. And what I watch people miss all the time with celebrities, athletes, I have a privilege of, we had dinner right before this with Roger Clemens, Rex Ryan, Tony Richardson, Nick Lowry, Lee Steinberg, the 9/11 guy was settling the case of Saudi Arabia for $100 billion, right? And when you're in these spaces, I'm always less. I'm not making myself less, but I'm present to the fact that these people have more fame and identity, and I give them hierarchical primacy in the beginning of the relationship, not out of any lack of integrity, but to make sure I don't know these people that well in these short windows, that their significance could be a driving factor.
And so I'm giving them their significance. It doesn't take any power from me. And I mean, I'm saying this with absolute humility. I haven't had somebody say no to me one-on-one in 5 years about anything. You know, when I asked,
100%, and I'm like exactly what you're saying, significance aspect, and people do like to talk about themselves, especially if they went through the hardship in their life and they are made it.
yeah. And by the way, so we're being clear, I would never ask Oprah to be on my podcast or The Real Raw. I would do exactly what I just did. That's why I get yeses. Because when I asked Tony Robbins, I didn't ask Tony Robbins for a single thing for 3.5 years. I did about 10 things for him. And when I finally asked for something, I still think there was value for him in it, he said yes. Right. And so I'm always present to like the differences and where we don't want to ever burn. I call it burning a no. We don't ever want to burn a no, because once we hit the first no, especially the massive ecosystem possibility, now we have huge friction. Like if it's one window, one day, one moment, right? Oh, I'd be asking Oprah, is there any way I could talk to somebody on your team? That's all. Because if I'm asking for her, I think every human being we encounter is a deer. They're like a deer and they're ready to run. And so if we can approach them with caution, trust, bubble of safety, then I think we can make the micro progressions. But I agree, I'm present to it. There's no perfection in this, but I'm always looking for the micro yes. Like what's the next yes in the progression so that nothing ever dies. So that's all. So final, Ben, how'd you feel about that?
I felt great. I learned a lot from you, and I really appreciated the earning of trust, you know, and had I even known how this was structured, like I don't even enjoy pitching, so that I really got a lot of value out of that, because I could see how I can just take the pitch out, talk to the human. And
Ben, can I just say this? So ready? And I would disrupt this frame for you, for everyone. Don't ever effing pitch again.
Yeah.
Don't ever hook anybody. Don't ever close anybody. Never, like, I believe in context. You know, Michael said beautifully the word contextualization. I believe in context. I will never, ever be put into the context of pitch. So if Michael and I had more time in a meeting, he's like, all right, so what's your pitch? All right, you're pitching me. I'm like, dude, I'm not pitching you. Miss Winfrey, I get the fact. Miss Winfrey, I get the fact that you're pitched to all the time. I'm telling you, I know I could add massive value. All I'm asking for is the opportunity to prove it. And I'll prove it in a small, tiny way. Tell me something that I could talk to somebody in your team about, because I get everybody says the same thing to you. I promise I'm actually different, and I want to take the time to prove it to you. I'll start the base, you know. So I'm always like breaking the frame of take. Like I don't want to take anything. I want to add to your mission, Miss Winfrey. I'm looking to add value. With Tony, the moment our world changed, he had a problem. Something was bothering him. I could tell, and it was at his house. And I said, Mr. Robbins, I said, listen. And he's like, Tony. I'm like, yeah. I said, Tony. I said, I don't want anything. I can help with that. Who on your team can I talk to? I will add massive value. I assure you. And if not, never talk to me again, ever. He's like, no. I'm like, I mean it. I will add massive value. All I ask is I want to add massive value and build a relationship forever. This is an opportunity to prove it, because you have a need that I can solve. That's how we started. So and and to this day, I've never asked him to come on The Real Raw. I've never asked him for whatever. And the thing he said in front of that group, I didn't ask him to say. I am going to ask him to let me put that in my book. You know, in the beginning of the book, I am going to ask that, but I'm also going to share back with him why I think it's valuable for him to do it. So that's the idea, is how do we add value continuously? We've gone long. We ran late. Forgive me for having so much fun with everybody in intros. Real quick, final 10 seconds each, please. Ben, how was your experience today?
It was very educational. It was insightful. It was actually, it helped me, like, I could see how it affirmed my intuition about this and about you. And now I get to go lead a yoga and meditation for a lot of incredible entrepreneurs with Matt Johnston, who are in an innovative session right now doing what you created. So this is a really beautiful energy I'm going to take to them. And thank you for helping, just for showing that, like, we're all enough. That's what I really got from this. Who we are is enough. We don't need to pitch and sell ourselves anymore.
Amen. We are all enough. Some people have more relationship capital. Some people have better relationships with their kids. Some people have more money. We all have assets to bring to each other, but fundamentally we are all the same. I believe that to no end. So thank you for that, Ben. Antonio, quick 10, 15 seconds, brother. How was your experience?
Yeah, I would say just understanding that I only had 3 minutes and utilizing it a little bit more efficiently, not trying to deepen the conversation too much, trying to transition a little bit more about creating a longer form meeting. So that was one way. But I do love, what I've learned from you over the last, 6 to 8 months that I've been in this ecosystem, just constantly creating deposits in those relationship bank accounts and eventually going for an ask. And I've just been constantly doing that and seeing my business massively accelerate.
Yeah, awesome, brother. And Ben and Antonio, I would also just suggest dropping a little bit more into your heart. Like that you both have incredible Zeus energy, incredible congruence, incredible articulation. You bring great certainty forward. Just dropping back into heart, varying it. Like Cora did such an extraordinary job. Heart, fun, Zeus, right? So like the variance of those energies. Beautiful job there, Antonio. Thank you. Cora, how was your experience, Cora?
Oh, I loved every minute of this. I could do this again, quite frankly. I found a lot of value in hearing everybody's story and what they bring to the table and learning from everybody's experience and being able to critically think about how to structure conversations to add value was really awesome. I really enjoyed my time.
Yeah, and I'll say this, it's funny because people use words like soft skills. When I hear the frame soft skills, which is not said that much anymore, but okay, I feel like, oh, you guys work on soft skills. Like, are you kidding me? We work on skills of ruling the world, creating disruption of every problem, because every single problem is solved with influence, period.
100%.
We do nothing without influence. It is what is. It is the only attainable superpower. That's it. There's nothing.
I have a saying in my life, you can get anything you ask for. You can have anything you want as long as you know how to ask for it the right way. Really is like, I teach my kids that, and it's all about positioning and relationships and just, I love everything about this. It's so awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Alan, thank you for being here. Love the mentalist dynamics. Look forward to learning more about that. I have immense respect for anybody who has artistry that is able to entertain, hold space with an audience. Great job, brother. Thank you for being here. And how was your experience?
It was very interesting. I came also from the world of selling. When I just moved to this country, I was selling in an electronic shop like the Zone, very pushy. And that's what I learned. And in the past, and I taught that to my employees later on. I opened a company for selling magic tricks in the shopping malls. Nobody needs a magic trick. It was an impulse buy, but we were selling them. And now I come from a different world of actually giving value. And I always tell like those that hire me, mostly event planners, like my job is to make you look good, to bring you value. And this is what I'm learning every day, is not to push for the yes, but just give and not look for the gig, but look for the relationship.
Well, thank you for that. Elena, how was your experience? Thank you, Alan.
Amazing experience. Thank you for inviting. I think I'll go kind of in the same note as Alan in terms of that. There's a saying that when you help somebody get what they want, it's just a matter of time that you will actually be in abundance of what it is that you need. So I think peer group is amazing. Surround yourself with the right people, with the right mindset and drive in life and passion. And live with passion. So I mean, just a great experience, great people. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you, Elena. And Michael, thank you for your feedback and all the things. How was your experience?
You know what? I came in completely blind to Unblinded. And I came out unblind. So yeah, I resonated with what you're teaching and sharing here. I had no idea what this was. And then asked me to join in. He said, take this hour and be there. I said, okay. So I was not expecting this. This is valuable. It affirms my perspective and my instincts, but beyond that, it refines. So it was really good to sit in and hear all of you. All of you contributed. So thanks for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you. And in final, just for credibility dynamics, somebody heard a thing and not sure, so we didn't go into it. Listen, facts. I broke the sales record at every major event of Tony Robbins, including 4xing platinum partnership sales in the most highly developed sales organization in the history of personal development. And how does somebody step into that and create those sorts of changes with this formula? Number one, I raised $1.7 million in 28 minutes from a room of people who had no idea they were coming to a fundraiser. for Tony Robbins' birthday for Operation Underground Railroad. And that the hope that people had was to raise $500,000. I raised $700,000 from 65 people for a charity. Again, no idea other than a fundraiser. I built a 40-person law firm 6 months out of law school. P.S. Most of you wouldn't understand like why that's difficult. That was harder than the first 3 things I said combined. I've never heard before or since a person building a 40-person law firm, no capital, money, no relationship capital at all, 6 months out of law school. And I am not that talented. Ran for class president in 7th grade and got like no votes. And all of this is because of learning the science. Final. I have the unique privilege of being one of only 2 attorneys in America with 2 top 100 national jury verdicts. There's 1.2 million attorneys in America. I was one of 2 out of 1.2 million to have 2 top 100 verdicts between 2014 and 16. The only one that was blind. And in both cases, we had $0 offers going to trial in business cases, which meant the other side gave us 0 chance of winning. Didn't offer us $1. And so it has nothing to do with like, wow, I'm like a genius. What I am is somebody developed a unique level of mastery in a formula to scientifically quantify how influence actually works that applies in every single dynamic of marketing, selling, leading, managing, recruiting, fundraising, for-profit, not-for-profit. That's the conversation we're having. Obviously, there's tons more to unpack, but this was in a very high-level group of thinkers. You know, Michael, Ben, Cora, Antonio, Alan, Elena, fantastic group. Final.
Final is, as you said, it's just an incredible opportunity to be here. And everything we seek is on the other side of yes. You don't get on Tony Robbins' stage without having the superpower of influence. All of that is, the formula for that is in the guide that the team just put in the chat. Definitely download that guide. Definitely have a chat with someone on our team.
Yeah. Listen, thank you guys. The money, time, and magic we want. And that's like hyperbolic. Like people want one of 3 things: more money, and or they want more free time, and they want more magic, which is the byproduct of money and time for most people. And the challenge though is we are all blind.
And just learning to see.
Thanks guys.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Great job. Thank you.